Welcome everyone. Today we are going to be making an appendix inside the waistband holster for a Glock 19 using Reaper Black on Blizzard White. We're going to be using a 3-hole UltiClip and a ModWing Gen 2. So follow along as we make this holster. So first thing we're going to do is kind of decide where on the holster our attachments are going to go. Put our UltiClip up against here. We know we want that to be roughly right down the slide. And then we want our wing to be somewhere off to the side and around the trigger area, generally speaking. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our jig here and we are going to put it on our slide. Get an idea how we want that UltiClip to sit. And as you can see, we already have this slot in our template. That allows us with this template jig to make it so that we can loosen that top screw and slightly tilt that UltiClip back and forth to give you some cant, one direction or the other. What we'll do is we're just going to tape that to our prop here. One thing to be aware of when you get a new prop, just about regardless of the brand, the way that they're made, there is a mold release that kind of needs to be taken off of it. Otherwise, the blue tape won't stick. You can just wash them in some soap and water if you want. You could probably use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to wipe it off. But that will get that release, that mold release off. And again, that's on most of the molding props, regardless of the brand. That's probably one of our most common calls is, hey, I just got this molding prop and I'm trying to put blue tape on it and it won't stick. So just remember, just clean the prop and then it'll stick just fine. All right, so now we're going to decide which direction we want our holster to be, right? As far as this pattern can be used 360 degrees, so kind of determine which part you want it to show on your holster, which direction you kind of want the skulls to be and everything like that. And then just lay your prop on it and get an idea of what size of it that we need to have. We'll mark it, we'll score it, and then we'll have the piece that we need to make our holster. Now, we're going to go on over and heat our KYDEX here. You can kind of see in the oven there that it's kind of curling up a little bit. We want to wait for that curl up to go ahead and smooth out and drop back down. That gives you a good idea of when it's ready. We're going to be using this retention plate. You can see how it's going to kind of sit in there. You don't tape this to your molding prop or anything. We'll just stick that in after we wrap our KYDEX around our molding prop. Get our molding prop in there the way that we want it. Stuff it up inside of our press. And once we get it where we want it, then we're going to put our retention plate in there. You want to do all of this fairly quickly because when it's between the foam, it takes a little bit for the KYDEX to cool, but when it's just in the air, it's cooling a lot faster. So you want to make sure and get that in there and snug down before it starts cooling too much. Today we're using an UltiClip 3-hole clip for the holster that we're making. And we're doing that because of the way that we've got it laid out is so that we can have an adjustable cant, which is something that UltiClips will allow you to do. The beauty of the UltiClip is that you don't even have to wear a belt. So it's perfect if you happen to be carrying while maybe you're out jogging or running or some other type of exercise where you may not be wearing a belt, or where you want to conceal carry and you don't want the loop to go over the belt, so it tucks behind it. Also, UltiClip comes in multiple variations. We have larger and smaller sizes depending on what you need to do, whether it's a larger pistol, a smaller pistol, perhaps a knife, or even a mag carrier. If you want to carry it inside your pocket, we have UltiClips that will allow you to go that small. All you have to do is click the link right here and it will take you to the full variety of our UltiClips and all of our other attachments. And then after it's cooled for a while, we can take our retention plate out there. Now, let's say for example that we had done this and for whatever reason you didn't like the way that it came out of the press. You can actually take that KYDEX, put it back in your oven, heat it back up, and do it again. All right, we're happy with what we got here, so let's go ahead and take our molding prop out. It's hard to see in the image, but where we actually had our jig here, yeah, you really can't see it, but it creates dimples. So just like anything else around the gun, when the KYDEX is molded around it, it creates dimples right where it went. So we're just sitting it on top to get a better mark so that we can see where those are. And that allows us to know where we want to drill to do our mount. And then we're going to mark where we're going to put our ModWing. All right, so we're gonna head on over to our drill press here. Now we're putting this little piece of wood in just so that it keeps that space in between our KYDEX as we're drilling through it, so that the hole on the back side is where we want it. Otherwise, the two pieces, the two sides rather, are angled together and your hole's not gonna be exactly where you want it. So next we're going to drill our holes where we're going to mount our UltiClip, and of course these don't go all the way through. These are only going through the front side. So just remember when you do that, this drill is going to go through there pretty quick, so don't put too much pressure on it and accidentally run it through the back side. So all we're doing here to create our slot is we're just using our drill bit, and we're just going to drill it multiple times. The way that makes it easier to do this with our drill bit is because we have a very sharp point on the end of it. We made this specifically for drilling KYDEX and hole sticks and Boltron. And so what it lets you do is pick a very precise spot where you want to drill. So that way you can start it. It's not going to hop around or anything. And then once we get a couple of holes drilled and it's pretty thin, we can just put it up on there and move it back and forth. And it works basically just like a router bit when we do that. Again, be careful that you don't put the bit in too far, drive it through the back side. Also, don't move back and forth too fast or you'll end up wallowing your slot out or making it too long. So now we're just going to mark out where we want to do our rough cut for our holster. And remember, give yourself a little bit of extra room to work with, because this is what we're going to take to the bandsaw and cut, and then later we will come back and we'll use our grinder and we will sand it down to get it closer to our final product. Right, so now we're just going to saw off the pieces that we don't need. Of course, make sure that you are wearing your personal protective equipment, some type of mask for breathing, so that you don't breathe in all this dust, and eye protection, because you'd hate to get some of this plastic stuck in your eye. And of course, be very careful, because a bandsaw will take a finger off pretty quickly. So as you can see, now we have the rough shape for our holster. And we're just going to go over here to our grinder. And you're going to work slow when you do this. We're showing it at 2.5 speed just so that you don't get bored out of your mind watching us take the time to sand this down. But it does take off the plastic really fast. Doesn't take much pressure. And you just want to work slow. Because if you take away too much KYDEX, you can't go back. Once we've got it down to the final shape that we want it, we're going to take it over here and we're going to polish it out. And you can polish it to your liking. Some people just want to make sure it's smooth. Some people like it to be almost a mirror finish. Once you're done polishing it to your liking, be sure and clean it out. All the cutting and the drilling and the sanding puts a lot of dust. You can just dip it in water. Doesn't require soap. You can use soap if you want to, but just kind of clean it out, especially the inside, and make sure that you dry it really well. And part of the beauty of an open bottom holster like this is if you're out, you're using it, you're training with it, it gets mud, dirt, and all that stuff in it. It's real easy just to take it to your sink, wash it out real good, and let it air dry. All right, so now we are going to assemble our ModWing. So for those of you that don't know, The purpose of the wing is to push the butt of the gun kind of back into your body, since like the bottom of the pistol grip where your magazine goes in on a pistol is the place that's going to stick out the most, just because of the way, depending on how the holster's made, depending on the type of gun, depending on your body type. If you're like me and you have a little bit of a gut, it tends to shove it out a little bit there. And so depending on exactly how you like to carry, the wing can do very well because that wing's going to be behind the belt, closer or further rather down the grip. And what that's going to do is kind of push it back into your body, which makes it easier to conceal. And the nice thing about the ModWing with the multiple pieces there is it will allow you to determine kind of how much it pushes back. So what we're going to do is we're just going to snug these up. After you do your final fit with the actual pistol, what you'll do is you can come back and you can take the screws out, clean them off, put some Vibratite on them, and then tighten them back down to get the retention that you like. Because everybody's kind of different. Some people want a little bit easier draw. Some people want to really have to torque it to get it out of there because they're concerned that it's just going to fall out under normal use. The trick is make sure that it is snug enough to hold the pistol in. You certainly don't want it to fall out if you bend over or something like that. But you do want to be able to draw it when you need to. So again, once you've determined how you like that, then take the screws out, Vibratite them, put them back in. That way you don't have to worry about it, because if you don't, because these screws don't have lock washers and they're not tightened down super tight, what will wind up happening is over time they'll back out. Now, if you don't mind checking your screws every week or every few days or whatever, if you can notice when the gun starts feeling like it's a little looser going in and out of the holster, you could just tighten them down whenever you want, I guess. But Vibratite certainly makes it easier. It will be the same thing with the UltiClip. Once you've got it on, you may want to do some experimentation with how you want it canted. And so you get it set like you want, then you Vibratite it. And there you have it. Give it one more look over and make sure you're happy with everything. And this is where you would do your test fit and make your final adjustments. Okay, so that was a little more work than what you've been used to as we're moving along, giving you some more advanced videos here. As you can see though, this is a very useful holster because it does have adjustable cant, so that's very nice that it has that. Certainly hope that you've enjoyed watching this video as much as we've enjoyed making it. If you'd like to make this holster for yourself, or any other holster for that matter, simply click the link right here. It'll take you directly to Holstersmith to get everything that you need. If you did like this video, please click like and be sure and comment, and also subscribe to our channel and click the notification button. That way you'll be notified of our new videos each and every week. Again, we really appreciate you watching, and we hope to see you soon.